with the Green Party call to action. And it's in the preamble of our platform. And please join in with me and repeat after me. We believe in alternative, independent politics, and active, responsible government. We offer hope and a call to action. Green and growing. Green and growing. Green and growing. Green and growing. I don't hear you over there. Green and growing. 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 All right. You know, when I was a kid, I marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I was about 10 feet away from him when he shared his dream about all God's children. That's us, that dream. The sad fact is today, too many of us are still dreaming. The things that we marched for back then, civil rights, health care, housing, jobs, education, are still issues that have not been resolved in my lifetime. Both the Democrats and Republicans have had their turn. That's right. And things are worse in my community, all over this country, and all over the world. This country needs the Green Party of the United States. If things are going to change in this country, we have to continue that drive. You know, the Chinese symbol for change is a combination of two symbols, one for opportunity and one for risk. Opportunity, what have we got to gain? A better world is possible for us and our children and their children. That's what we work for. Risk. What the hell have we got to lose? Forward 2004. Forward unity in our community. Go green. We have to relate our platform to the needs of constituencies in this country. We have to make the connections of foreign affairs and what happens right here at home. No more war, peace and love.
Hello, everyone. Hello, friends, family, and neighbors in this global community. It is fantastic to be here in Milwaukee this evening at the National Green Party Convention. My name is Brian Benford. It is an honor and pleasure to introduce the next speaker. Normally, when introducing someone, you hope to share a personal anecdote or a connection if it's appropriate. In this case, it most certainly is. I first met Mayor Frank Zeidler as a kid living here in Milwaukee. I remember he spoke at one of my grandparents' wedding anniversaries. At the time, I remember asking my grandmother, Una Colin, who has since passed away, who was this man? He was one of the few white men in a room that was packed with family and well-wishers. She told me that man is a great man who was mayor of Milwaukee from 1948 to 1960, the year after I was born. She said he was an advocate, a fighter, a champion for civil rights, housing, education, workers' rights. He is a man who believes and fights for equality. She also mentioned that he was a socialist, which I ran to the dictionary to look up and subsequently led to the world of politics for me. Later, I followed as he ran for president and his other endeavors. As a youth of color growing up in the 60s and 70s, I don't recall hearing many positive comments about politicians in those days, especially here locally. For that matter, I still don't hear many positive comments. Last year, I ran successfully as a Green for the City of Madison Common Council. Thank you. I have the honor of serving as alderperson for the east and north side of the city. And as far as I know, I'm the only black elected Green in the state of Wisconsin. It was no coincidence in why I called Mayor Zeidler to seek his endorsement and advice early in my campaign. He told me to knock doors, and doors I knocked, taking government right to folks' backyards. I'm amazed and inspired that he still continues to lead. He leads by classes, speaking engagements, and other activities. I never forgot the words of my grandmother then, and they are not lost now. It is my distinct honor and privilege to present to you a great man, Mayor Frank Zeidler.
Thank you, Brian Benford. As an alderperson of the city of Madison, I'm delighted to see that a young man who I knew in Milwaukee years ago with his family has come to a position of serving the public in an important Wisconsin city. And I hope that you have success in advancing further your principles, especially as you've associated yourself with the Green Party in bringing the idea of the Greens into the Wisconsin scene. The Wisconsin scene is important because of the fact that it is the location and has been the location of third parties. The principal third party being the Progressive Party of Wisconsin, which no longer exists, and the Socialist Party of Wisconsin, which still continues to exist. The Socialist Party of Wisconsin, of which I am a member, has ideals very similar to those of the Green Party. When you're in the city of Milwaukee, for example, be sure to note the wonderful park system. That was an environmental design of the socialist movement, particularly under a man named Charles Whitnall. When you see the public ownership of the lakefront, that's another thing that the Greens, if they had existed at that time, would have supported. When you see the decent housing, particularly public housing units that were built under the socialist administration with environment particularly in mind and social justice in mind, you can know that you are in a comfortable environment. So that there are ideals in common between the socialists and the Greens. But perhaps the greatest ideals in common are those of peace and justice. This is a time when all of the minor parties of the country have to concentrate on securing peace, peace in the United States, peace in the world, peace between peoples of color, peace between all of the different ideals that exist around the world, and that can be achieved, I think, largely through the basis of either the Green or the Socialist movements in the world today, similarly to what they have done in the Federal Republic of Germany. But justice, human justice, rights of people and their dependence upon each other for the essences of life, that's a critical feature. And so our movement in Milwaukee with Greens and Socialists and Third Party join with you. We have one other common thing and purpose, and that is to get representation in government. The Socialist movement particularly favors the idea of proportional representation so that minor parties can bring a new breath of air into the American political atmosphere. And the Greens have done that, more perhaps in recent years than the Socialists. And so, blessings on your work, your struggle for peace and justice as ours, and we all join with you in it. And I want to thank George Martin particularly for his leadership in this community, and for those in the Peace Action Center who have been so forward in producing a better atmosphere among the people of Milwaukee and of Wisconsin. Thank you.